Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot, we charge you a little. So naturally, when they announced they'd be raising their prices due to inflation, we decided to deflate our prices due to not hating you. That's right. We're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Am rolling. Yes, sir.
Pat, you know I love golf.
I know you do. You don't love the way it was played yesterday, but go ahead.
I have no way to prove this, but at about 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, I said Justin Thomas is going to win this tournament.
Well, that's a very good pick because you were watching the way every one of these other mutts was playing. Zalatoris wanted to shoot 80.
I know he did, but see, I'm building into this thing.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're going to...
It's almost like you guys haven't worked together for 4 decades.
Well, I didn't know that we were now...
No, I'm telling you about
I hope it's about Giants Ridge.
Yes.
Damn it. Okay.
Home to the legend and the quarry. The greatest value in Minnesota golf, and between June 4 and August 29, play the 37-hole special, the legend and the quarry on the same day. The 37th hole is lunch on them at the Wakuta Grill. The lake view is one of the finest and most peaceful overlooks in all of northern Minnesota. You can view these 3D course flyovers of the legend and the quarry at Giants Ridge. I'm thinking of it as a family vacation destination. Given these gas prices, you're going to stay right in the state, and it's more than golf, although it's the greatest golf in the state. It's more than golf. It's hiking, it's nature trails, it's biking, it's water recreation, the newest and largest lift-serve mountain bike park in the Midwest, dining, lodging, and more. You can book tee times online at giantsridge.com or call them for your tee times, 218-865-8030. It's the best golf destination. It's in the top 10 golf destinations in the northern half of the country, and in fact is ranked number 3. It's just fantastic. It's the kind of place where Justin Thomas could make a comeback. It's giantsridge.com. And I said that. I have no way of proving it, but I just had a feeling that the guy from Chile, who I never heard of, he wasn't going to handle it real well.
That swing of his on the 18th tee was one of the worst I've ever seen. And why is he worried about hitting it 350 yards? Why doesn't he just take a nice little swing, hit it about 290, 300, somewhere in fair territory? And the worst he can do is be in a playoff if he does that. And one of the most idiotic plays I've ever seen. And even then, he hits all that. He follows that up with one of the worst chips in history.
Right.
I don't think he had complete control of his bowels on that last hole.
He could have had an accident.
I think he was very close to.
It was painful to watch Eldrick, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
To play that poorly.
And is he?
Did he withdraw on Saturday?
He
after
quit
Saturday's
after
round.
79.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was a good thing he didn't play Sunday because they had her. Even a little. Now the wind wasn't blowing, but it was a little tougher on Sunday. He might have shot 85.
Well, we've had this talk 100 times. Is this it?
Yes.
Why go to the British Open? You can't play.
No, the British Open, because if the wind doesn't blow, he's St. Andrews. He's going to play St. Andrews. He loves St. Andrews, but the British Open is not going to. Here's the thing they got going for them now on these golf courses, like. When they can set it up, the PGA and the U.S. Open they want. If they can get those greens as hard as they want to, you're aiming at about 4 yards.
Right.
You know, you're not aiming like the rest of us do at this big opening up there. You're trying to aim it somewhere where it doesn't roll off down into the countryside. So it's grow rough. And make the greens rock hard, and you can defend yourself. Boy, have they tricked that place up compared to when I was there, when Tiger won it, to whatever year that was. But when it was hot and steamy, if you're going to have a golf tournament at Southern Hills, though, May is the time to have it, not in August.
They damn near froze to death Saturday.
Yeah, it was 58.
Yeah,
it was really weird. But I mean, Justin Thomas played great, and nobody else played worth a damn. So. That's the way it went.
What was his comeback? 7 shots?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Third highest in major golf history.
Your ball club had a nice comeback.
That, and I didn't watch it. I didn't see it. I kind of had given up on him, and
So here's how
I was watching the golf, and all of a sudden I looked at my phone, and it was 6-5.
I left the boys' final flag football game to go to our baseball game, and it was 6-0. And I pulled into St. Patrick's parking lot, thinking, well, they took 2 out of 3, and all of a sudden, holy crap, they came back and won after our game was over.
Yeah,
with.
they got 5. Boom! It looked like very quickly they got 5 in the 8th, and then they came back again and won in the 9th. And Kansas City's got some hard throwers in that bullpen. So
Where are they tonight? Detroit?
They're
Nice
at
win.
home.
Well, they're at
against
home.
Detroit.
I
Against
will.
Detroit.
Yeah, they're home for 4 with Detroit. Then they're home or 3 for
Three.
Detroit, and then they got 4 with Kansas City again, right?
Yep.
And then they go to Detroit again for 5. They go.
You
to
know what I
Detroit
can't wait
5.
for, Patrick, is on Wednesday, I'm going to get the text from the mayor. What the bleep is YouTube TV for the Twins game on Wednesday?
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Well, I won't watch it then.
YouTube TV is it's not YouTube. It's YouTube TV streaming service, which is what I
Correct.
use.
Yeah. Oh, you do have that. That's right.
That's the one I
I
got.
was just at a house over the weekend where they got that, and I couldn't figure out how to use the remote. And it's just a mess.
Well, we had a failure of for a couple hours. Was it last night? We had a failure for a couple hours. Boy, I saw a good movie though.
What?
Bought it, $20 on TV.
Really?
The Outfit.
Yeah.
Mark Rylance, who's a fantastic actor. The older guy was in The Bridge of Spies. You saw The Bridge
Yeah.
of Spies. He was the prisoner that was being
Yeah.
exchanged.
Yeah.
And then Zoe Deutsch, who's Leah Thompson's daughter, is in there, and she's kind of works for him. And he's a tailor. He's a makes suits, but and then the mob is using his place to store stuff in the back, and it's really good. I enjoyed it greatly. So it was worth the $20.
It's about a tailor?
It's not about a tailor. It's the guy. The main character is a tailor. But there's a twist or two, including dead bodies.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, right. So, when the mob is involved in a movie, there's usually dead bodies.
I want to tell you something that you don't have to worry about.
What?
You like to add things you don't have to worry about. You don't have to worry about monkeypox.
Monkeypox. If do you have to be near a monkey to get it? I just saw the headline.
Well, no, I think initially you might. The first guy
the
probably
first
did.
guy had to be near a monkey.
Near a monkey, but then it can
You
go.
know where he got? In other words, he was at the Rock of Gibraltar, huh?
Well, they had a lot of
This guy.
monkeys there.
They got lots of monkeys. They jump on your car and they poop and they throw poop at you too. They are evil creatures. I know how to get rid of monkeypox.
Mm-hmm.
Kill all monkeys.
Jesus.
All of them. Wipe
every
them
monkey.
off the
That
planet.
is a piping hot sports take right
Get
there.
rid of monkeys.
You guys take it away. I got to go meet a guy.
Yeah, well.
I don't want to, but I couldn't change
So
the.
Joe's
It's a
anti-zoo
law.
and you're anti-monkey.
I'm anti-monkey because they're mean and they're up to no
What about the
good.
cute ones that people have as pets?
Yeah, they're not. They're up to no good. They'd have a chance. They'd rip your eyes out. You know, they're mean. They're mean. So I haven't paid much attention to monkeypox. What is it?
You don't need to.
You don't need
Is
to.
it smallpox or is
Just
it?
a virus been around forever, but because of COVID now, we're going to go hysterical because we got another illness.
I saw a young lady today driving. I was driving down University Avenue. There wasn't anybody within 150 yards of her, and she had her mask on
yeah.
the corner. What?
happens all the
What are you
time.
afraid of, honey?
I like the people
Nobody's there.
I'm going down 35W to head home, and
they got him on-
guy's in the car by himself. Well, I don't know who you're protecting yourself from, sir, but God bless you. You know, there's just the people that are going to take all the precautions necessary, I guess.
But there's no precautions necessary when there's not another human being around you, right?
That's a very
Right.
good point.
It's not like just flying over. It's not. They're not. It's not flying over and say, "Let's get her." Come on. These little germs aren't flying over there. All right. Anyway, yes, nice Twins come back. Big brouhaha. We have discovered, and I guess Judd and Phil discovered, and Declan discovered this before me. You know, when you write something for the newspaper, and then you see the comments, if it's a Twins thing,
Cheap pole ads?
Invariably, it's the cheap pole ads,
Yep.
and we build them this stadium, and they promised us they were going to win World Series and all that stuff. And you kind of get the crotchety crew, right?
Yep.
So you kind of get the perception, that might be still the Twins audience because the attendance has been terrible.
Yep.
And but there is now this positive force of younger fans.
The number crunchers?
Many blog-driven. No, just a younger. Many blog-driven, but they've come from they're this way with the Vikings. They're the kind of the pro Kirk Cousins crowd.
The analytics crowd, sure.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then, but it's not necessarily the analytics crowd. It's a feel-good crowd, and it's the Timberwolves had a fine season, and they're young and they're building, even though they crapped away 3 double-digit leads and became the first team in history to do that. And the Wild had a great season, and it was just, the refs didn't give them a good break or something. There's this whole, and now they've reached the Twins. They're all mad at me because I have been ripping the idea that we should send Reusse Lewis down to AAA and have him play all over. I want him to go down to AAA and become a better shortstop. I don't think he's a big league. He's an okay big league shortstop. But next year, when you have to actually be a big league shortstop, go in the hole, do all that stuff, I want to see better footwork from him. I want to see a better player. If you're going to have him in AAA, play him there. So anyway.
Is he better or not as good as when Polanco was a shortstop?
Oh, he's better than Polanco.
Okay.
Yeah.
But isn't that good enough?
Polanco's.
Is that good enough with a team like this?
Well, it might be good enough, but I think he's got a chance to be great as an athlete,
Oh, sure.
So anyway, and if you're going to send him down there, I don't want to take Urshela off third.
No.
And you sure as hell not going to take Correa off short. And I've heard some people say play him at first. Okay.
No, that's just stupid.
Let's take our, Louis Arise is fine as your first baseman.
And you want him in the lineup.
Yes,
right?
You got to have him in a lineup. Let him play first base. He's no worse than Sano. He's probably better defensively. He's way better offensively. Makes the lineup move. Judd was talking about that today. That when he plays, you don't get to the automatic strikeout in the middle of the lineup, right? Anyway.
Although, didn't he strike out yesterday with the bases loaded?
Yeah, but that's going to happen.
Which I found fascinating.
That's going to happen.
He did have the longest streak, though. I think, wasn't it 41 straight plate appearances without a strikeout?
Yeah, you're not going to see that from Miguel.
No. You might see 41 straight appearances without a hit.
Yes, you might. So anyway, that first base is not a problem. Really, everybody went goofy when Lewis got sent out. You don't need him. Really, right now, you don't need him because Polanco's playing great second base. And Arise, I want Arise coming up to the plate, not Reusse Lewis. And Urshela, I love Urshela. He's a really good player, much better than I thought he was. Hell of a third baseman. And, I don't want Reusse Lewis playing in the outfield.
You know who I actually have been pleasantly surprised by? And Johnny Height scared the hell out of me with him. But Sanchez has played pretty good this year.
Yes, he has been fine. Yeah, he has been fine. And he hits every hit he gets is a double.
Yep.
And, they're talking about maybe having him play first base for a couple of games.
Has he played there before?
I think the Yankees might have used him once. The Yankees were so paranoid about his catching that they were going to
move him there.
Around.
Sure.
But, he's been a good player. He's
of
a good player, and he's not, it's not. They made it sound like you're going to be turning around and running to the batters,
Sure.
To the backstop half the time. He's okay.
So speaking of the Yankees, and as long as we're mentioning that trade, what is Josh Donaldson's problem?
He's either way too intellectual for the rest of us, or he's a complete idiot. Because his reason for calling Tim Anderson Jackie is that he says that he read a couple of years ago that Tim Anderson was making some Jackie Robinson comments about how he loved him and what he did, and and he sees himself as Jackie Robinson when he's playing, but emotionally and stuff. And which is really an esoteric way to get to calling a guy Jackie, or he's just a, I think he's just
I'm going to say the latter.
Bonehead. He's a complete bonehead, yeah. Because now he said that he wanted to cool the tensions by calling him Jackie.
That's probably not the right way to go about it.
No, it's not. But I don't, I mean, baseball would really be overreacting if they did anything about it.
I think so too.
Because he's not, it's not like saying, hey, Martin Luther or something.
But the thing is with Donaldson, none of this was surprising. When I saw this, when did it start?
Yeah,
was it
just
Saturday?
Shut up.
Yeah, just be
gotta
quiet. 'Cause
chatter all the time.
Well, remember, was it last year or 2 years ago when he was with us? He started something at
Garrett Cole.
Chicago. No, in Chicago with the White Sox. Remember
yeah.
when he hit the home run? He did something when he crossed the plate and then got thrown out of the game.
No, that's when he kicked the dirt on it. That
right,
had
but he
nothing
also
to do
said
with-
something.
that had
He also said something to one of the White Sox pitchers.
Oh, really? Okay, I can't remember that part.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a loose cannon. There's no doubt about it. But they made a good, that turned out to be a good trade for him.
Yep.
Because I liked both those guys.
Unlike the Taylor Rogers trade.
Oh God, that's the case though. There's people defending that. There's this. You can't judge this trade yet because they have Paddock under control, and for a couple of more years. Well, one of those is going to be spent rehabbing, and guess what? When he's good, when he's pitching, he's not that good. He was ordinary, and the other guy,
Pagan.
He's just another guy. He drives you crazy with his not throwing strikes, but he was terrible last season. You gave him $6.5 million.
Right.
You think that $6.5 million could have been spent better?
Well, and I like the point that you made, I think it was a week ago, where if they were still in, and look, they're in first place. They could probably use Taylor Rogers right now.
Yes.
And the thing is, if they were dead set on moving him, as you pointed out last week, they could have got a ton for him at the deadline.
Yeah, left-handed. Really, now I'm sure they'll tell you, well, they were worried he's dislocate his finger again or something. But that would your only left-hander is Thielbar. You got a 14 pitcher, no, 13 now, but it's pitching staff with one lefty. Caleb Thielbar.
That's hard to do.
They're not a starter, now they might have called up that Moran today from the Saints. I don't know. But, the urgency to trade him made no sense.
I
to
didn't
me.
get it either.
Because they said they couldn't sign him, and he wanted to become a free agent. Well, you take the $6.5 million you gave the Padres and put it on top of the whatever you were offering Taylor Rogers, you would have gotten him probably, right? So,
do you think that
I think he's really good, and if he's healthy, I've always liked him a lot. He has those periods, like most relievers, that he'll have 3 clunkers and a 4 a couple of times a year, but game in and game out, he's really good, and it was. And I told you, I was told that Terry Francona was like,
oh yeah,
he was alarmed.
What are they doing?
What the hell are they doing there?
Do you think that they did that move not knowing they'd be a first place operation by Memorial Day?
Well, they did it after they had Correa.
That's what I'm wondering.
They'd already. So if you accept Correa for $36 million,
because didn't they trade him on opening day or the day before
opening day? If you accept Correa, then you're thinking you can win the division, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason you're going to,
or at least compete for a playoff spot.
Yeah, that's the only reason you're going to add it. When Boris calls you, that's the only reason you say yes, is you think you have a chance to win.
Or do you say yes, thinking, well, we'll see how we do, and then if anything else, we can move him at the deadline.
Yeah, they did. They did get the. He doesn't have he can't turn down a trade, so
okay,
they can trade him at the deadline. But you know what? At the trading deadline,
okay,
you would get more for Taylor Rogers than you get for Carlos Correa.
Really? Because of the money?
Left-handed relievers.
Yeah.
Relievers always. That's at the trading deadline. People want pitching.
Exactly. Yep.
And generally speaking, relief pitching.
Okay.
And Correa, you're saying, I only got him for 2 months, and I got to pay him.
Because I
$12
remember
million.
when the Orioles moved Machado, they got one guy that I think is going to be a player, but otherwise I don't think they got much in return for him.
By the way, San Diego just went through the Giants in 4 games. The Giants are going to end up under 500. Their lineup stinks. They were scoring runs like crazy for a while, but they can't continue. But the Padres just went through them, and the Dodgers are going to win 110 games, so they probably won't match that. But they're playing good, and they love him. So
by the way,
this underground of people who want to debate me on the Taylor Rogers, I'm not participating.
Goodbye.
Not participating. Somebody the other day was, I said something about Royce Lewis. The Twins got him playing left field today or something. I says they're going to stick to their ridiculous plan, and they why do you think it's ridiculous? And I said, not debating with Twins homers today. Maybe some other time. I had a bad weekend on Twitter. I got like Sunday. I must have tweeted like 50 times, and then some days last week I didn't tweet at all.
By the way,
some days I get possessed.
Speaking of who's garbage, your Washington Nationals are 2 games ahead of Cincinnati.
Yeah,
for last place in the National League. I was reading this morning. I think it was Nightingale said that Rizzo might be in trouble. Didn't they just win the World Series 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
3 years ago, wasn't it? 19.
Yeah.
But
I know they sold off a bunch of pieces.
Their other thing is the rumors that Soto might trade Soto.
Oh.
I would call them up and say, I got Kepler, I got Buxton, I got Larnach. You want all 3? Give me Soto. Give me Soto.
He's a player.
I love that guy. He's might be the best hitter in baseball. He hasn't gotten hot yet, but they haven't paid him yet. And
no, he's still
going to be $350 or something.
Easily, easily, no doubt.
There's, you know who supposedly could be interested? Yankees.
Oh, there's a shock.
Judge, you know who's hitting like a maniac?
Aaron
Stanton.
Judge. Oh yeah.
He's hit. I was watching the other day. He had 2 straight hits, just singles to right field because they're playing him like right over here. If he's not going to be an automatic out, that team. Whoo! Good luck when we run out Emilio Pagan to finish them off.
Good Lord. He won't even. Well, he'd have to pitch to at least 3 batters, but he won't make it out of the inning.
No. The other day he came in and he got Dick and Latroy were pretty excited because he got the first guy out just like this, and last save he only needed 10 pitches, and then boom, and boom.
I don't know if you caught it yesterday, but Latroy had a great line. I caught a couple of the first few innings during the game on TV yesterday before we had to take off. But Dick was talking about some of the great pitchers he's worked with in the broadcast booth and the number of wins. He said, I've worked with Jim Cott. Oh, I remember because he was mentioning it was Tommy John's birthday yesterday.
Yeah.
So he said, I've worked with Tommy John, and he set it up the number of wins, and Jack Morris and Jim Cott, Burt Blyleven, and he said, Latroy, how many wins do you have? And he goes, I don't know. It was
all he knows is he's top 10 all time in appearances, I think.
Is he really?
Oh, God. He's incredible number of appearances.
I guess I didn't I know he pitched for a long time.
Maybe not top 10, but he's had if you take out the prehistoric guys like Cy Young, those guys who pitch 50 games a year.
Now, are you and Latroy still good?
Oh, yeah, we're fine now.
Okay.
Yeah, he forgave me.
What did you call him again?
I said the worst starter in the American League has become the worst closer in the American League.
I don't know why you would have been offended by that.
I don't know either.
Holy cow, 21 years he pitched.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
With a fastball and a slider that broke 3 inches. He you know what? He was throwing the high strike before it was fashionable.
Yes, yeah, he was.
Getting
You're
people
right.
out with the high strike before
I never would have guessed this, Patrick. 1,042 games he played in.
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, he was. If he had a breaking ball, man, he would have been a hell of a starter. But he made himself into a very durable reliever. I think he ended up on the DL like second to last year or something. But I think he went about 18 years without without ever being hurt.
Did he win a ring with somebody? Was it?
He was in a series with Colorado.
That's what it was.
But they didn't win it.
Because they lost to Boston.
Yeah, I think, was that his only World Series? I'm not sure. So
Man.
he was, I remember talking to him in the corner in the Fenway clubhouse during the World Series. That was something. That was a little crowded in there.
Oh, I bet.
The clubhouse is the size of, if you took the Joe Suchere studio in its entirety, that would take up the whole clubhouse in Boston.
God.
It was.
Yep, his
was
last year,
unbelievable.
2015 with the Blue Jays. Wow. 1,042 appearances. And by the way, his ERA with the Blue Jays was 2.76 at 42 years old.
Last year, he probably didn't pitch much.
Well, he split between Colorado and Toronto because that was the year Toronto they were a playoff team in 15.
Well, he would have been a teammate with the charming Josh Donaldson.
That's true.
That year, wouldn't he?
Yes.
Wouldn't he?
And what did he say about Tommy Canley? Worst teammate I've ever had. I thought,
That is one thing about him.
I want more LaTroy on the
That is one
broadcast.
thing. He'll drop a truth bomb once in a while that that would keep him from being a 120 game a year guy. For
I
them
want him
because-
on every time. Oh,
God,
he's
I
fantastic.
listened to Cott and Costas for about 4 or 5 innings the other day. Man, those two guys are still good together.
Oh,
'Cause
God, yes.
Costas, it's like Costas becomes 10 years younger when he's with Cott, and Cott has got 80. I think he's 84, maybe 83 for sure. And his voice is like he's 50.
Now
you know, it's
they do
same as it
is it
always
Thursday night showcase on MLB?
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Is that what it
Yeah.
is? Because I will
Maybe
catch it on
Thursday.
occasion too. Yeah, he's so
God,
great.
The two of them are. I mean, and Costas is like really into it, and
So
you know,
now
with
that
him.
Fox lost Buck to ESPN, why not approach them about doing the World Series? Or are they dead set on having Smoltz and whoever his partner is going to be now with Fox?
Yeah, I don't know who is going to do the.
Or hell, have Costas, Cott, and Smoltz.
So Buck's gone already.
Yeah, in fact, he did golf this weekend on ESPN.
Okay, all right.
I saw him on the
So
TV
he's
a
gone
couple of
already.
times.
They
Yeah.
haven't named their lead baseball guy. then,
Unless I missed it, I have not seen it.
Yeah. Well, Buck, very underrated in my opinion.
I think he's great.
Minnesota fans still hate him because he made fun of Randy Moss, or ripped Randy Moss, but you know, he gets more criticism for no reason than.
Oh, he's
anybody.
great. No, I think he's great.
Yeah, he's not
Just
a
for
problem.
playing himself in Brockmire alone, that makes him fantastic.
God, the money that these guys are rolling out of there, though. I mean, it's like the last vestige of network TV to get people to watch, and even any cable TV. I mean, Stephen A. Smith making $6 million or $8 million or whatever. What the hell?
$8 million.
$8 million for Stephen A.
Well, and I was debating this with someone else in the industry a while back, and I'm thinking, I don't care that Tony Romo's doing the AFC Championship game. I'm still going to watch the damn thing.
That's a good point. I mean,
Granted, a good commentator does enhance the
Sure.
broadcast. I get that,
Yes.
but I'm still going to watch the Vikings game on Sunday, regardless of who does the game. Just like I'm going to watch every NFL playoff game. I don't care who's doing the game.
Well, what's interesting is giving Brady $375 million, not knowing if he's going to be any good or not.
And he's still playing.
Yes. Well, you know, we all were convinced that Tarkington was going to be great because he was glib,
Okay.
and he lasted 2 years.
I don't know.
He was on Monday Night Sports, Monday
Night Football. Okay.
and he lasted 2 years after Howard and Meredith were done, and those guys, and he wasn't any good.
What was it with him? He just wasn't a good storyteller.
He just and never said anything, and people didn't,
And what it's caused now, I don't know if you saw this, but Drew Brees was in the studio for the NBC, the Football Night in America with Dungy and I think who's the studio host now? It doesn't matter, but he said, "Well, I want to be back in the booth now," because I'm sure for one he's seeing the money, but two he's probably saying, "Well, I don't want to be in a studio. I want to be at a game."
Is he any good?
You know what?
haven't heard
Honestly,
him on-
I don't really remember.
I watch having the NFL package. I watch all the games, and I have no idea who's doing them. And now, if I get Tariq when he's on with Gus, the guy that's on. I love that guy because Tariq, what's his name?
Akeem Talib.
Akeem Talib.
Yeah.
I love that guy because he says whatever comes into his mind. He's like he's talking to the guys on the corner, man.
I can't remember
I love him.
if he was doing a Vikings game or he was doing a game I was watching, and Gus says something about, veteran receiver catches one across the middle. And you just hear Talib go, he trash. It was like, whoa, wait a minute, what?
Well, I also liked him to say, yeah, can't wait to get this game over. I'm taking my kids to the Mall of America. Flew him in. He was taking his kids to the Mall of America amusement park, I guess, out there. So, yeah, but, most of the time I don't even have the volume on,
Yeah,
so
you just are watching the game,
just
right?
Watch the game, click around, so. And Brady, I wonder, he'll probably become candid, don't you think?
Well, I would think because, I was talking to somebody else about this, and I said, he's too wired to be the best at everything that he's going to work his rear end off to become the best broadcaster.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He just won't half-ass it. He's going to really take time to learn the craft. And whoever, I think it's going to be Burkhardt is going to be his partner. You know damn well that Brady's going to fly him wherever so they can practice at some high school game in Tampa or whatever they're going to do.
Well, this officially tells us he's going to Giselle's giving him one more year, and then he's got to be he's one more year of playing. But
watch him go out and do what he did last year and say maybe just one more year after this year.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he's one of the most amazing athletes of our lifetime to still be candidate for NFL MVP at 44.
Pat, he's older than me. That's why I'm rooting for him to keep playing. He's my last guy.
Yeah, it is incredible. It is incredible.
Hey, quick question for you. You mentioned Cott. When is Cooperstown weekend?
Second to the last weekend of July, 23rd or something like that.
Good and steamy then.
July 23rd.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got a fighting chance.
Are you thinking there's going to be a giant Twins contingent heading out that way?
I would hope so, although I don't know about prices are outrageous. I don't even know if I'm going yet. I'm
really?
trying to figure out. Yeah, our best laid Star Tribune plans haven't been made, so I don't know what they're doing, but they better get on it pretty quick because we're going to be packing a tent in a nearby park if they don't get on it pretty soon because the prices are just outrageous. So,
but have they been well attended the last however many years it's been for all?
Well, the
induction weekend.
This is going to be big because Poppy's going, so Boston will have a huge congregation. But there's really never been a better reason for Minnesotans to go. Tony and Cott,
right?
Tony, probably, I don't know, a case could be made. He's the most popular Twins playing figure in history because he's never left. He stayed here. And then Cott, identifies. He identifies as a Twin, okay?
Yes, he does.
I always say he identifies as a kid. I don't know what his pronouns are, but he identifies as a Twin. So.
It was great. MLB Network did a profile on Buxton, just kind of how his career, the ups and the downs. And it was actually a really well done. It was probably like a 5-minute piece that they did on him. And they go back to when Selig announces the pick back in 2012. And you see Tony sitting at the table there, and he gives it because you could tell Tony had no idea who they were picking, but he was just celebrating whoever the name that they were going to call. He was just celebrating whoever it was. It was great.
Yeah, he's an amazing personality, and as his wife says, I never have met anybody who didn't like Tony. And that's the true. When I had those Legend Club seats with other guys, his seats were right behind us there in the Legends Club. So everybody who used the tickets or come up to me, you never guess who we sat in front of? I'd say Tony Oliva. How'd you know? Okay. So, it's a big event. That's for Minnesota. That's for damn sure.
No kidding.
True. Who else? And we got Whalen. And McHale, now McHale was in last year's class, but they didn't have a ceremony. So Springfield, Mass. in September, I think you got Whalen and Whalen and McHale got to go out there for. Somebody's got to go out there for that too.
And that won't be during their season. Won't have begun yet, right?
Oh no,
no. Okay.
Whalen got a player from Western Nebraska Junior College.
Okay.
You know who else came from Western Nebraska Junior College? Bobby Jackson.
Really?
If this player's as good as Bobby Jackson, that'll kind of pick things up for Coach Whalen, that's for sure.
I don't think the Timberwolves get enough or don't get ripped enough for letting him go. He had a great career in the NBA with the Kings.
Yeah, and he played defense. He could have really guarded. And I think he's their coach in the minor leagues. He's their minor league head coach.
Is he really?
Now he's doing okay as a coach.
And I know he was only here for 2 years, right?
Only 2 years, and really the first year he had some health problems, but his senior year he was the best player the Gophers have ever had.
I was just going to ask where you rank him.
Number one.
Really?
Best basketball game I've ever seen at any level. When they beat Clemson in 2 overtimes in San Antonio in the Sweet 16, and he had 4 fouls early in the second half, and Eric Harris popped his shoulder.
I remember that, yes.
And he had to come back in, play point guard for the rest of that game, through 2 overtimes without committing his 5th foul, and did everything. Made the defensive plays, made the offensive plays. And that Clemson team, which was coached by Rick Barnes.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. They were mean. They were they'd lost a bunch of games in the ACC, but they were really physical. And, of course, the Gophers had Thomas and Courtney James. And
what a squad
that was. A brutal battle. And that was a great game. I've always said, in all my years of sports writing, I recall the hair standing up on my arms twice.
Okay.
Both basketball. When the Dream Team came out on the court for the first time up in Portland, when the game started, it was all like this, because, they had them all. Magic and Bird, and the starting lineup was Magic and Bird and Jordan and Barkley and David Robinson, I believe. And then during that Clemson game, like in the first and second overtime, it was like, because it was such a great game.
It was,
and you kind of wanted them to win because would have been fun. You thought they could. The great season they had, it would have been really disappointing to lose in the Sweet 16.
Right.
But,
was that Greg Buckner? Wasn't he on that team?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
They had a bunch of. They had
a couple of NBA guys. I think.
They just had a real nasty. I did a thing on Barnes on the phone when Tennessee was number 1 in the country about 3 years ago. I think 2020. The SID there was really good. He got him on the phone with me, and I brought up that game, and he said, it's one of the top 5 of my career that I've coached a lot of them. He said, says as far as 2 teams competing, that was as good as it gets right there. Yeah. So
can you believe that was 25 years ago? Isn't that hard to believe?
Yeah.
The 97 run.
It is 25 years ago. Wow.
Yeah.
And you go back to 99 when the scandal hit. That team was in the tournament. They would have beaten Gonzaga probably that Gonzaga team ended
with their
up going
team
to the
with their
Final
regular
Four,
guys, yeah,
because they played them close. And that Gonzaga, that was Munson, and that obviously got him the job here. But Gopher basketball in the 23 years since then, oofta.
Mm-hmm. They've had a couple of blips, but for the most part, yeah.
I think they've only been in the tournament. Is it 6 times? 6 times, I think, and they've only won 2 games.
You know who?
Patino won 1 and Tubby won 1, right?
And you know who led the team in scoring that day against Gonzaga in 1999, don't you?
Nope.
My guy, Mitch Onstead.
Oh, really?
Faribault, Minnesota.
Really?
He came in. I don't think he was going to play.
He hadn't played a whole lot.
No,
right?
but Clem said, "Get in there."
Well, who'd we throw out before that game? Well, a couple of them.
It was Quincy, Miles Tarver.
Quincy. I don't think Quincy was in.
I
don't think Quincy got
wasn't
tossed.
he?
No.
Okay.
Tarver was a guy that went state's evidence. Tarver was the guy that went state's evidence.
I'd have to look it up. I can't. I don't have. I'm almost positive that Tarver. Are you sure Quincy was? Maybe he was. Maybe I don't mean
Quincy
to.
was involved.
Okay.
No. I don't.
But
Quincy
they
might
played
have-
him tough, even with a bunch of guys out too. I remember that being a close game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was fairly close.
Yeah.
But I covered that Gonzaga team in their regional because I don't know why I was in Arizona, and I covered them in their regional. And no, that team did not. Yeah, that team made it to the. They didn't make it to the Final Four. They got beaten in the Elite Eight
Okay.
by Khalid, UConn.
Oh, that's
Khalid-
right.
Khalid beat them.
That's right.
Khalid beat him, but that was a war, man. And I was sitting right behind the Gonzaga bench here, so I could listen to Munson, and I was really impressed. I thought, hey, we got the right guy here. He's hard nosed and everything, because it wasn't, boy, you're playing great guys. It was, we're going to win this game. Didn't turned out to be a disappointment,
But he's had a decent career, hasn't he? Because wasn't he at Long
still
Beach?
in Long Beach, still
Yeah.
there. He's
Yeah.
won that conference a couple of times, and they're mediocre. I think he's in trouble now, though. Did he get fired, or they had a horrible year?
But that's a good job to have for 10 years.
Oh, God,
living
yeah.
in Long Beach, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's okay. Tark had that job before he went to Vegas.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Tark.
By the way,
Tark was my favorite Tark story. He had George Gervin. George, he got George Gervin to come out there, and George didn't like California. He liked Detroit, and so he had this kid. He says, hey, just take him. He had this kid. He said, just drive him around, take him to wherever he wants to go. A few hours later, he said, kid, where's George? He says, I took him to the airport.
he wanted to go home.
He flew home to Detroit. What the hell did you do? Because George would have been on one of those great Long Beach teams he had if he'd had George.
Sure.
That would have helped.
Oh, I would
And
think
I think
so.
you could keep him George eligible at Long Beach, too.
Oh, heavens, yes. By the way, speaking of Gonzaga, Chet Holmgren's going to be your number one pick in the NBA.
Give that fella some meat.
He is going to get.
What is he, a vegetarian?
I don't know. He's a hell of a player. Don't get me wrong. He's
but
fabulous.
how are they
but-
going to? You think they're ever going to be able to put 40 pounds on him? He can't weigh over 220.
No
can he?
chance. I don't even think he's over 200, is he?
He's 7'1", right?
Although I was listening to somebody, I think it was on Dan Patrick's show, and he had a guest on that said, you know what, though? We said the same thing about Durant when he came out of Texas.
Did
and I thought,
never
all
get.
right.
He thought he'd never get bigger.
well, just that he was going to be too fragile to play in the NBA
Yeah.
right away. He was Rookie of the Year, I think, wasn't he? And when he was with
Durant?
Seattle? Durant.
Yeah. Well, Dirk too. Dirk
Oh,
was
yeah. Yeah.
lean, and everybody was ridiculing the hell out of Dallas for that pick. This guy can't play. He was 17 or something.
And they said the same thing about Luka.
Yeah. Oh God, is he good?
Yes.
Ooh. But you see who ate his lunch? Made him.
I have not watched any of the
Made him
series.
miserable defensively.
Draymond?
Andrew Wiggins
You're kidding
was
me.
fantastic last night. 27-11, and played defense on Luka most of the game.
Who
and
won
made
the
it.
trade?
Who won the trade? We were giving Gerson all his credit. You gave up what? The number 6
7?
draft choice?
6,
6,
yeah.
7 draft choice. And you got that dog D'Angelo.
And now you're trying to move him this offseason.
Yes, yes. So not quite the great triumph that we all thought it was. All righty then. Thank you to the mayor. You want to go back and listen to the first part? The mayor was.
He was here.
You know one thing about the mayor, when you're on the air with the mayor, you always know when there's something else. He doesn't hide his discomfort well with,
Nope.
with the clock, right?
No,
Does he?
when he's eyeballing the watch, you know that there's an appointment to be
Yes.
had.
I was telling somebody was asking me, what's with Joe? I mean, I said, about my friendship with Joe. And I said, all you got to know about Joe is the best way to drive him crazy was to try to delay him at 3:56 from getting out of the studio because he then might miss the light on University Avenue, and this would cost him 4 minutes from getting home. It would that the only thing that mattered, the last segment of the show, was to end it so he could get
in the car and hit that light.
Hit that light. And of course, it took probably couple of weeks of research to realize what the key time was to hit the. Now I think the train is sporadic enough. It's not. It doesn't stay right on schedule. That I think he could miss the light anytime.
I think so too. Yeah, he's in the clear now. It's running less frequently. The old light rail.
But even that, I mean, he could get it out, and the train wouldn't necessarily be coming by at 4:00. It might be a little earlier, might be a little later.
Right.
So. But he's
all ours.
I said, yeah, we ain't trained him. That's for sure. All right. Hey, one last thing. I want to mention my dear friend Craig Fink from Minot, Scottsdale. He died on Thursday, right? Thursday. Heart attack, 72, down in Scottsdale. He was having heart problems. He was the character of incredible. He was such a character, a big friend of Tom Swanson, who was a college roommate who went to school with Roe at St. Cloud.
Okay.
That's how we all got to be buddies. And they were such a collection of goofballs up in Minot that Roe and I used to drive up to play in the Big Mo, which was their season opening golf tournament at the end of April at the new Minot Country Club. One year it was 28 when we teed off. We go up there and freeze our arse off, but we get more laughs, most of them from being around Fink. And then he went to Scottsdale. His wife, Robin, made a really nice career down there, still is, selling real estate down there. And he became her lawyer and kind of her financial guy. But he made his dad owned a group of kind of low budget men's clothing things, Zips. Remember Hal's?
Oh, sure.
Well, Hal's were the rivals.
Oh, okay.
Zip, and they weren't in here, but they were in the Dakota. Zips.
Okay.
And Hal's and Tommy Halpern owned Hal's, and great guy. I know him too. Big buddy of Wong's. He's a guy that had diabetes bad, and he had a toe and a half chopped off his left foot. And, I was playing golf with him, and he's a really good golfer, but we were playing against Dan Simpson, who's a pro at Minneapolis Golf Club now. He had a match going with him, and Simpson was giving him some strokes, but we were playing at Estancia, and Halpern, quote, closed him out on 17. We got the 18th tee, and Halpern says, "So how do you like getting beat by an 8.5-toed Jew?" One of my great quotes of all time. So, and Fink was from that same mentality.
Sure.
And just a hell of a guy. And Tom Swanson called me the other morning, and he said, "I got bad news," and it just made me. Before he gave it to me, I thought, but he went to Augusta with us about 3 times too. And what a character! He also, on Thanksgiving, we were down there once with him on Scottsdale Thanksgiving, and Jim was stationed in Yuma, and my son, and he came up, and they used to make a big deal out of Thanksgiving, and he had the Think-athlon, which was like a quiz deal, but an elaborate thing with all kinds of, and you would partner with somebody for this quiz game, but not your wife or partner.
Had to be somebody different.
Yeah,
yep.
mixed.
Yep.
And his mother was still alive then. I can't remember what her name was, but the classic Jewish mother, man. And God, she used to, he'd always say, "I'm your favorite, aren't I, Mom? Aren't I your favorite?" And she said, "No, you're my least favorite of the kids. You've always been the least favorite of my kids." I mean, it was just a circus of subtle little insults and hilarious,
fantastic.
just a hilarious guy. And his wife's just the very proper and prim gal. And,
A good
and
balance,
he's
yeah.
just a needle and agitate. And he was always one of those guys, if he, kind of like our old radio show with you and I and Manny. If there was a moment of praise, the insult was coming right around it.
100%.
And Fick, the insult, if he was saying something that would make you feel semi-good, there was always the
Just wait, there's more.
coming around and slap you in the back of the head type of guy. And there's service for him today, I think, in Scottsdale. He was the rabbi in Minot because they didn't have a rabbi, so he took the studied something
Sure.
and got approved that he could do but the church was in his living room basically, and they would have services on the holidays and stuff. And
Okay.
he was the town rabbi. He also owned a bar called the Barley Pop. He didn't run it, but he owned the building, the Barley Pop. And did I tell you this? The Barley Pop was this old building, an old bar, but they expanded the street, right? Mm-hmm. Out in front.
Oh,
So there was the sidewalk was like
Very narrow,
one
yeah.
step. So if you came stumbling on the Barley Pop, there was a 50% chance that a car going 90 was going to kill you. Everybody came in the back of the Barley Pop, but Josh Duhamel,
yeah, the actor.
is a Minot guy,
Sure.
and he used to when he came to town, he drank at the Barley Pop.
Oh,
they
really?
Said. Yeah, so he was
A good local boy.
They loved him. Yeah, they loved him. A former quarterback at Bishop Ryan up there. The
Oh, wow.
Catholic
I didn't know he
school.
was. I did not know he was a
Minot
football
guy.
player.
Who was he married to? The country?
Fergie.
Fergie, that's right. Are they still married?
I don't
they can't
think so.
Be. They
No,
can't
I
be.
don't think
They're
so.
both too good looking to still be married, right?
Right.
They both had to be cheating, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
they've got options.
I mean, him. How could he not cheat?
I don't know.
He'd have to. I mean, he'd have to be neutered. That would be his only That would be his only chance, right?
So wait, you want Josh Duhamel to be neutered, and you want to kill all the monkeys?
No,
that's what
I
we've
don't
learned
want
today.
him to be. I just want him to go out and do whatever he wants
Yeah,
to
right.
do.
I got you.
I've always said, if this country worried a hell of a lot less about philandering, we wouldn't have nearly much problem. Just don't ask, don't tell.
Right.
Okay. It's not whether that should, that was the thing for the gay folks in the military, right? Don't ask, don't tell. That
Sure.
should also be the thing in marriage, right? Don't ask, don't tell. All right. See you
We'll
later.
see ya.
We'll leave you with that. We'll leave you with that fine thought. for the
Absolutely.
day.
That positive note to end the day.
Yes. You have heard me talk about my relationship with Josh Arnold for several years now. The reason I advocate that you give Josh a call is simple. Actually, there are two reasons here: trust and results. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions. You hear the saying, past results do not guarantee future returns. And while that is true, Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. You can trust Josh to make sure you are not paying more in fees than you are seeing in returns. That is more common than you would think, but not with Josh. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain by booking a 48-minute free evaluation with Josh. This is a no-obligation meeting. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. You will be glad you did. And while you're there, ask Josh the long-term question. Why is it 48 minutes?
A beautiful lawn is just a click away. Hello, sports fans. You schedule that free in-person lawn care analysis and estimate right now at professionalturf.com. You do that, ProTurf will send a highly trained and experienced service tech to your home who will analyze your lawn's condition, then customize a 3 to 5 step fertilizer and weed control application plan that's environmentally safe and guaranteed for superior results. A beautiful, healthy lawn free of crabgrass, dandelions, and broadleaf weeds. Locally owned, Professional Turf, they've been serving the Twin Cities since 1982. Schedule your free in-person lawn care estimate today at professionalturf.com.
Minnesotans in unison enjoy all this great state has to offer during the summer. From Niagara Cave to the Lake of the Woods, outdoor adventures abound. Minnesota spans more than 86,000 square miles. There's something to see everywhere. It's great we can experience a state so rich in landmarks, landscapes, art, and adventure. With so many adventure options, we were thinking, why are so many Minnesotans limiting their options for insurance for home and autos? Today, 80% of Minnesotans have their insurance with one agent who has only one company. That means no options. At the Canterbury Group, we offer you more than 16 companies for your home and auto insurance and 40 professionals to do business with. So as your needs change, we have options that continue to provide you with the best coverage for the best price. You wouldn't want to fish in only one of Minnesota's 10,000 lakes, and we don't want you to be stuck with only one insurance company. Visit thecanterburygroup.com or call 800-967-3389. Get many insurance options today.